All right, we're gonna get right back into the tier list. For those of you listening, we might divide this up into two parts. We'll see how long it is. But we're gonna go next up with the rundown with The Rock. Zach, where would you put this?
I will put this in A category. I think there's a couple things missing from it for it to go to S category, but I love this movie a lot. And as I said on the episode that Kyle was on, if this was made in the 80s, this would be a classic.
That's right, I remember that. Paul, since you were the one who had some counter arguments to it, where would you put this?
Well, that's right. I mean, like I said last podcast, I was so young when I watched this movie that I don't remember it fully. I do need to rewatch it again. I remember thinking like it was okay when I was younger. I wasn't blown away by it. So since you put it in A, I guess I'll put it in B.
Okay. Cool with that. How about you, Knock?
Since I was a kid when I watched this, Rosario Dawson changed my mind about a few things. But the movie was, I thought it was fun. And like Zach said, you get the bounty hunter type thing going on the mission. It's like an 80s movie to a T. I'll put it in A class.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Kyle?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with A. This is a movie that I think aged well over time. I remember when I was younger and saw it, it seemed a little campy and hokey, and but there was an air of like earnestness to it. But I couldn't put my finger on it until I like really watched it later. And it is very much, if you go back to the 80s, there is a self-awareness and knowing that you're doing something ridiculous. And just because you take it out of the time, it will only bring it down slightly. I do think there's a genuine self-awareness. I mean, just in the casting of Christopher Walken tells you what they knew. They knew what they were doing. And it's just such a fun, good time as an action movie. And I think time has aged it well, and had it been created in a different time period, it had the exact workings and tone and cast to make it a classic. It just is. It's made outside of the confines of self-aware camp, and so it's not S. It could have been had it been back in the 80s, but it is an A.
Okay. Mm-hmm. We're cool with that. Rundown in the A column. Next up, we've got ourselves visiting the Roadhouse with Terry Funk. Kyle, I'm gonna start off with you. Where would you put this?
I might piss off some people. Roadhouse is a terrible movie. It is again when we talk about products of its time, and that can help it, and you can get through a film because of it. This is a cult film in a regard, but it's a cult film because it is so terribly written and shoddily acted that when you watch it, you're just making fun of it the entire time. And so its enjoyment is at its expense and not with it. But because I do enjoy watching it, even though it's not an objectively good movie, I'm going to probably just give it a C, even though it deserves lower.
All right. Paul, have you seen this?
I have, and man, that Patrick Swayze, could he gleam up a Q? C. I agree with Kyle, like, verbatim. It's like your typical, like, heteronormative, like, 80s action movie, and that's just not my thing.
Okay. How about you, Zach?
So this one I just watched again last night too. I fucking love watching this movie, but again, it's for all the wrong reasons. Well, I'm fine leaving it where it is. But I highly suggest that you watch this movie.
Oh, dude, yeah, you can get so much enjoyment out of it. It's just not a good movie.
Right.
But I do, whenever it comes on, I'll watch it. Like, because I'm like, oh, here, watch this train wreck.
It's so bad it's good movie.
Yeah, it's one of those. So bad it's good. It's like The Room. It's like Miami Connection. The Roadhouse is up there.
Yeah. A lot of Patrick Swayze movies are like that, I noticed. Like Big Trouble in Little China, this.
Oh, no. He was in Big Trouble in China.
Yeah, he's not in Big Trouble in Little China. That's Kurt Russell.
See, I always get these actors mixed up.
These white actors.
They all look the same, don't they, Paul?
I was literally about to say that, but then I caught myself. I'm like, don't say that.
Don't worry, I got you.
Knock, have you seen this or?
No, I was gonna defer to these guys, so yeah, it's fine to see.
Alrighty. Patrick Swayze, your train wreck. Next to train wreck in the C column. Next up, Rocky 3 with everyone's favorite Hulkamaniac, the original Hulk Hogan.
Jesus.
Kyle. I'm gonna
Dude, this is the worst Rocky movie.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's so bad, and it does such a disservice to the hero that we love. Like all the fights in it are just so cheesy, and it's like Stallone at his worst, like his like American exceptionalism worst, and it just grinds you down in its silliness. I have zero enjoyability out of Rocky 3. Like every other Rocky movie is far more watchable. This is an F, yeah.
Really?
Paul, do you have anything you disagree?
No, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I do think it's the worst Rocky movie. Clubber Lang is like the worst opponent so far. But I don't think it deserves an F here. I would put it more like, I would say maybe C. Yeah, I'm okay with C.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Knock?
Well, I like Mr. T, but I'm going F, honestly. I hate to do it. I hate to do it to a Rocky movie. I love, the action stuff, but
Right.
it wasn't good.
Okay. How about you, Zach? Where are you putting this?
I'm fine with it in F. Even as a kid, like 4 to me was so awesome.
4 was amazing.
And then like 3 is just, I never ever want to see this movie again. I'm so sick of hearing Eye of the Tiger for ads. This movie did absolutely nothing for me at a time when big spectacle movies should have done something for me.
Yeah.
And I actually think Rocky 5 is the worst of all time.
I never saw that.
There's an argument to be made, Zach, for sure.
Okay. Well, anytime the Hulk Hogan gets an F class, I'm happy. So I dig that.
We're all happy.
Next up.
All right, guys.
All about family.
We can wrap it up here. We know the winners.
Well, you know the winners now.
Knock, where is Fast 5?
This is beyond S-Class. Like, save the franchise, give them life for more movies, the music. This is Brazil. Come on now, man. This is The Rock at his best. The Rock became a blockbuster guy after this movie. Everything came together, the storylines, the return of old characters. This movie is genius. They should have won an Oscars for this. This is S-Class. Come on. I'm not biased.
Not at all.
But I do own 3 copies of this movie.
Oh, man. I wish I had that kind of passion for anything besides wrestling. Zach, where do you put this movie?
I'll give it an A. Try not to piss Knock off here. This is my favorite in the series. Everything did come together to me in the whole series, in the whole franchise with this one right here. This is a great, fun movie. I had a ball watching it, and this is probably, other than the first movie, this is the one I remember most for good reasons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about you, Paul?
I like this movie, and it surprised me because I didn't think I was gonna like it, because I remember seeing movies like Tokyo Drift and fucking hating them. So it's probably gonna
Tokyo Drift is a classic.
I would disagree with you there, but this movie pleasantly surprised me. So I'm gonna say B. It's not my thing, but I enjoyed myself.
Okay. And how about you, Kyle? Where is this one going?
And I love Knox's passion for this. Like, I really do. Like, to love something that much. I can't agree that it's S-Class, unfortunately, but I will put it in A. As a heist film, it has a high energy. It uses a convoluted, twist to its advantage. It's actually, and then what is at the end of that twist is just a huge action spectacle, which is defined in this franchise as ever since the fourth one, where they became like superhumans, like where they're like super strong. You know, it started as like Point Break with stealing DVD players, and then it turned into something a bit supernatural and a little bit enhanced. It's like live action anime. If you like keep that in mind, like it's kind of like a cartoon. It works really well. The tone, the heightened, the really ridiculous acting. It really kind of works as a genuine tone for a film. And as a heist movie, I have to applaud it. It's quite well done, and it's probably the only one in the series that I would typically revisit. And if it saved the franchise, it launched it, I believe it. Yeah, it truly did.
Yeah. And I like how you say it's kind of like an anime, because if you really think about it, it kind of is. It's almost like Initial D meets like Ocean's 11.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I'm cool with that. Well, Fast 5 in the A column.
Wait, does that go?
I believe he said A.
Yeah, he said A.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I know I'm doing it, Paul. Come on.
Sorry.
You're good. We're going to go on to See No Evil, the first movie I want to say I watched with a wrestler in it, and I fucking love this movie.
What do you grade it?
See, I want to give it an A just based on nostalgia, but objectively, I'd give it a C+.
That's fair.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go ahead and toss it over to you, Zach. Where would you put this?
I'll put it in the C category too. It's like WWE Films wanted to make and create their own slasher movie. I watch a lot of horror, like a lot.
Same.
Even like the worst horror, I'll watch it. This movie is just flat on all accounts. Having Kane in there without the mask, just kind of looking dumb, doesn't really work for me. Yeah, it's a C movie.
Yeah. How about you, Paul? Did you see this one?
I did. I am actually going to place this in D. I was not a big fan of this. I remember seeing this for the first time, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Kane's in this? And Taina? I have to see this. But yeah, I agree with Zach. It's really flat. It's just like your typical kind of schlocky slasher film. There's nothing special about it. So D.
Yeah. I will say, I saw, when I was looking at the posters for this movie, I saw See No Evil 2. I didn't know it was made, but even the posters.
It's awful.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a second one.
There is, yeah.
It's tough. Do laundry while you watch it or something.
How about you, Kyle? Where'd you put this?
I got to give it to my man, Mayor Glenn Jacobs of Tennessee, the state of Tennessee. Kane is such an interesting guy. This movie came out around the time I was even still watching wrestling. And because when, back at that age, seeing a slasher, seeing something that is gratuitously violent, I did enjoy that at a young age. In time, it has not aged very well in a sense that my taste has improved, only somewhat. And I would, it's like between a D and a C to me. It's almost like a D+, C-. And because I have some fond memories, maybe I'll just put it in C.
Yeah, like nostalgia.
Yeah.
Okay. And Knock, how about you?
F. No, I've never actually seen this movie, so I'm gonna defer my vote. I'm just still pissed about Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Everything else is F.
You know how I feel about Enzo last week. All right, so next up, Mickey Rourke, the wrestler. And this had Ernest the Cat Miller, if I'm correct.
Yes, it is.
I believe R-Truth was in here also.
Yeah, he was.
On Killings. Yeah, he was.
I think
They had a few Ring of Honor guys.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna toss it over to you, Knock. Where would you put this?
Oh, this is beautiful. This is an S-Class. Very well done movie.
Yeah. If I was voting, that's also where I would put my vote. I'm gonna toss it to you, Paul. Where would you put it?
I would put this in the A tier. This is literally the only Darren Aronofsky movie I like. Like I hate him. Him and Lars von Trier are like my least favorite directors ever. But I obviously love this film because I have a love for pro wrestling. I think Mickey Rourke does a really good job. He really bulked up for this role. So hey, yeah.
Okay. How about you, Zach?
I will put this in S class. This is just being a wrestling fan and seeing this much put into a movie about wrestling. Yeah. I don't know. I got really emotional watching this movie. Not too many movies hit me. This movie, just being a wrestling fan and seeing the delivery of an aged wrestler be done this well and honestly, it's S class to me.
Okay. And Kyle, what's your vote going to?
S class. This is gritty poetry, man. This is one of the greatest looks at aging and fame and how that, you know, how it can't be held on to. And where do you find happiness when everything, when your body, when your soul, when your spirit has just been pounded into the ground? It is a hard watch. Yeah, it's a hard watch, and it is a wonderfully done film, wonderfully acted. It's got great, you know, real life illusions, not necessarily in a physical sense, but like Mickey Rourke's career went careening out of control from the age, like he was an 80s darling, like he was at the height of his career, and then he disappears, and he comes back roaring with this film and gets back on everyone's radar. Because he is just poignant and real and raw, and that's what the film is. It's just phenomenal. It's phenomenally done. And as someone who has met Aronofsky and who finds him to be a pretentious piece of shit, he's a very unpleasant man. But when he taps into something, he can tap into something truly real. And I forget who wrote the script. It wasn't Aronofsky. He went on to make some other films, but the script by this guy is pretty perceptive and heart-wrenching, and I love it.
Yeah, and I'm actually really glad that you brought up Mickey Rourke's career, because I totally forgot. Like, yeah, his career did like go crashing out of nowhere, and I think it was because of that car crash and like the surgery he needed to get out of it. So this movie was kind of reflective on his own career, like just someone who's like kind of downtrodden. You're kind of seeing it through that lens. It was cool.
Yeah. And especially like as someone older, you youngins, let me just say, we're bombarded by like talent shows on TV now, and they always have these stupid, worthless sap stories, and they're worthless because they're all the same, not because of what they mean to the individual. But it's always, I've been waiting my whole life for this moment. This is my time. This is my story. Great. Okay. What happens after that moment? You know, and as someone older, just know the ride is everything. And this is someone in this movie who learns the hard way. And it's so refreshing to see that put on film, and I hope people that watch this understand that. So if you are striving for something, especially in the entertainment industry, enjoy the ride, because it could be over too sweet.
Yeah. Did this win any awards, by the way? I'm sure it won something.
I'm not. Mickey Rourke famously lost the Oscar to Sean Penn in Milk, unfortunately. I think Mickey Rourke deserved it that year. I think Marissa Tomei might have been nominated. I think it was nominated for like screenplay, but I don't think it even got a picture nomination.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. And real quick, Kyle, the writer was Robert Siegel, who wrote The Founder.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah. Not a badly written movie. It's not greatly directed, but The Founder's a decently written film.
Yeah.
Nice. Before we go on to the next one, I assume everyone here has seen Fighting with My Family. It's not on this list, but if it was, would you put it?
D.
Bro, what?
It sucked. I hated it.
All right, Eric, cut the show, please.
About to have ourselves a promo school.
It was so boring. It explored like nothing about Paige's life.
Okay.
It's literally her life.
But it didn't get to any of the juicy stuff. I want to see the stuff with Alberto. I want to see like more stuff with her family. But I
don't want to see the negative stuff like that.
I want to.
That was after too.
All right, so I think it's fair to say knock like Paul didn't. Zach, Kyle, would you guys put this above or below The Wrestler?
Fighting with my family?
Fighting with my family?
Oh, definitely not above The Wrestler.
Okay.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I mean, Fighting with My Family is a nice, sweet film that you could dub WWE propaganda.
Yep.
But it's Florence Pugh. She does a really good job in the film, and I think it highlights the difficulty of what is expected of you as a performer and as a physical athlete in the process, in a way that I don't think a lot of people would. So I think it's showing people, behind the scenes that it's not as easy as it looks, and I think I liked the film. Like Stephen Merchant wrote it, and which is weird for me to think about, and he's in it in the movie briefly, but I think he oddly has some interesting insight to as an inspirational tale, taking that inspiration tinged sports film and applying it to the world of wrestling, and it's fine. It's fine. I would give it like maybe a B at most, but maybe probably a C.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe a B, close to A. It surprised me.
Yeah.
Even my girlfriend that doesn't watch wrestling loved it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's The Wrestler for young people, but not quite the same path.
Yeah. And can I just say, Zelina Vega looks, sounds nothing like AJ Lee. That was bad.
Good.
Yeah. I just know our commenters would crucify us if we didn't mention that movie at least once.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
But all right, we're gonna go ahead. Next up, we've got Peanut Butter Falcon with Mick Foley. I'm gonna toss it over to you, Kyle. Where would you put this?
Oh, Peanut Butter Falcon is fine. It's got this like weird sweetness. I'm forgetting the guy with Down syndrome. What his
Zach?
Zach. He's so delightful in the movie. He's so good. It was odd seeing Shia LaBeouf, return in a way that gives him some, weird depth. Like I don't think he's a great actor, but I think he has personality that he can, flex on shades and layers, and he does a good job. And he developed a genuine friendship and relationship with Zach, and in the whole movie is about this young man's love for wrestling, and going to meet the star who's played by Thomas Hayden Church, who's always great. And yeah, Mick Foley is in a bit part as a referee in this backyard wrestling match, and it's just a nice movie. It's nice. It's almost so sweet it will give you diabetes when you're watching it. But it's like a B. Like it's like you can't fault it. It's like C average, but its sweetness gives it a little lift. Even though Dakota Johnson sucks and I hate her.
Okay, I think that. How about you, Paul?
This is a movie I have not seen yet, but I actually really want to see. This has Jake the Snake in it too, right?
Yes, briefly.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but I want to. So I don't think I. Yeah.
Knock, you seen it?
I have not seen it actually.
Okay, Zach, where would you put this?
I haven't seen it either. I had overload working these events at work, so I didn't want to see it. But I'm waiting to see it for free on Hulu this month. It comes out, so I'm catching this one for sure.
Wait, it's free on Hulu?
I think in a week or two. In August it's coming on though.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna watch it.
I did meet Zach. Zach's a really, really nice guy.
The
Nice.
darn sweetest, cutest dude ever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Kyle, you put in the B comments going there.
Awesome.
Next up, Man on the Moon with Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross. There we go.
Is it to me?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, sure. So I have a bias for this movie. It's done by one of my favorite filmmakers, Milos Forman, who did One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He did Amadeus. He did The People vs. Larry Flint. And Man on the Moon, I think, is one of the greatest Jim Carrey performances of all time, playing Andy Kaufman. And it's a strange movie. It has a kind of a negative history. If you've seen the documentary about Jim Carrey and playing this character, I mean, this did some mental damage to him, or his process in invoking this character
him or the cast
was problematic. Yeah, no, it's problematic, and it's because he really went into this role. Like the infamous method acting that he would bring to a lot of roles was pretty out of control during this film. So it's got a negative history, but as a piece of performance and a piece of filmmaking, I think it rings so true and gets to the heart to try and understand this very eccentric, very strange man Andy Kaufman was. I mean, he to this day eludes so many people. Like, nobody can really understand the comedic mind of Andy Kaufman. So this is technically an S-class film for me because of my history for it, but I'm gonna put it in A because we don't need to overcomplicate the S category. I think it is well deserving of an A though.
Okay. How about you, Paul? What are your thoughts on this movie?
I agree. A. Andy Kaufman, crazy ass. Like Kyle said, he's just such an interesting person. If you guys don't know, like, this guy, Andy Kaufman, went on a professional wrestling stint for a while where he wrestled predominantly women. Yep. Like, he's a weird dude, and just watching his life story was super interesting. Yeah, the backstage stuff was really unfortunate, but I don't think, that should really affect the film itself, No. So I agree. I'm gonna put it in A.
He was the intergender champion of the world. He declared himself so. It was a particular comedic act, and Jerry Lawler was, as himself, was involved in this act and pile drived Andy Kaufman on the Tonight Show, I believe.
They hated each other.
Well, actually, Lawler, 10 years after Kaufman died, admitted that it was a whole big act.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was all planned, and they kept it so tight and serious that once it was revealed, everyone was like, "Jesus Christ, that is some good dedication to the role and the hate."
Yeah, he did hate Jim Carrey, though. I know he hated Jim Carrey for a fact.
I hear Jim Carrey's very difficult to work with, so I don't necessarily blame them.
All right, Zach, where would you put this?
I'll put this in A, and not just to not overcomplicate the S class. I followed Kaufman's stuff way before this movie was even made. I was anticipating this movie. I love Jim Carrey as Andy Kaufman. There's something that, even if we didn't have anything in S class, there's something that didn't fully deliver on Andy Kaufman's story for me. I don't know what it was, but I did follow him before this came out. Jim Carrey is at his best when he's not comedic. He's playing a comedian in this movie, but he wasn't comedic, if that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah.
But Jim Carrey is a phenomenal dramatic actor, and I like in living color comedy Jim Carrey. I don't like silver screen comedy Jim Carrey. This movie, Truman Show, a couple others, he's so good when he's allowed to give a great performance. It's just not rubber facing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Knock, have you seen this one?
No.
All right. Into the A column. Next up, this is one I believe Zach and Kyle have spoken about on the podcast on I the Movies and You Don't. Friday.
Yeah, it will be out next Friday, actually.
I was going to say, you put this out on a Wednesday.
All right. With Tommy Tiny Lister Jr. I'm gonna give it to you, Kyle. Where would you put this?
This is definitely A. I can see Zach maybe putting it in S because of how we talked about it. But this is an A. This is a quality look at what was going through, and we talked about this on the podcast, is what was going through Cuba Gooding Jr.'s mind and DJ Red when they wrote it, is to try and bring humanism and community to the face of the Black community. Wait, what did I say?
Cuba Gooding Jr.
I was thinking Boys in the Hood.
No, man, Ricky doesn't die in this.
I was thinking Boys in the Hood. I was approaching a Boys in the Hood, because Ice Cube was in Boys in the Hood.
And I just watched Boys in the Hood 2 days ago.
It's so good. John Singleton is incredible.
I cry at the end of that every time. But sorry,
Yeah.
back to Friday.
No, yeah. So we, Ice Cube being in this and DJ Red, they wanted to write a film that brings a sense of community to what was being deemed kind of an unlivable place in cinema. If you watch South Central, if you watched Menace to Society, and so. There's something so earnest and fun about it, and it's a hangout movie, and you get to really just vibe with these people, and they're all eccentric personalities. They bring a life to the community. Everybody is a pillar, and or a character of this place, and it's phenomenal. It's a really well done film, and Cuba Gooding Jr. aside.
All right, I'm gonna give it to you, Paul. Where'd you put this at?
This is one of the funniest movies ever made, in my opinion. I still quote this movie to this day. You don't know how many people I don't like. You don't know how many times I've told people I don't like Bye Felicia. It's so iconic. I am actually gonna put this in S. I think this movie just played a huge part of my childhood. I literally can quote it word by word to this day.
Okay. How about you, Knock?
Yeah, I have no problem putting this in S. This movie's amazing.
Okay. And then Zach, your
S
call.
class.
There we go.
You want to know why? Listen to I Know Movies and you don't. Next week Friday. I have a plethora of reasons. I love this movie on so many different levels. Character work, acting, the tightness of the script and how it's shot, the use of songs in a movie. I'm not big on songs being in a movie that exist already, but this does a great job of celebrating music. I just love every single bit of this movie. And the reason Boys in the Hood got me so much is because I was the age of those guys when I saw that movie, or a couple years younger. So then seeing that movie, seeing Juice, everything else that came along with it, having a refreshing kind of look at a neighborhood in LA like that was, I don't know, man, it was really, really fresh at the time.
Yeah, the Holy Trinity is Friday, Belly, and Juice, I would say.
Nah, Menace to Society should be in there.
Yeah, Menace to Society too.
You know you fucked up, right?
What?
No, I just
I got you. Yeah, that's class for me.
Very nice. All right. Next up, we go to the Waterboy with The Big Show. Tossed over to you, Paul. Where's this going?
I'm gonna give this an A. This is I think my favorite Adam Sandler movie. Again, I'm just wearing rose-tinted glasses right now. I'm so blinded by nostalgia. I literally watched this when I was a little baby, and seeing Big Show's Bizarro was really cool because this is when I literally just started getting into wrestling. And I'm just like, oh, I know that guy. So, I don't know, good times. A.
Okay. How about you, Zach?
Loved Billy Madison. Loved Happy Gilmore. This movie and Big Daddy made me hate Adam Sandler movies. I give this a D.
Okay.
Okay. A and a D.
I know a lot of people that hate this movie.
Hey, Eric, if you've seen this, you can take my go. I haven't seen this one.
I haven't. So Kyle, you're this same boat.
Man, I have a complicated history with Waterboy. I saw it in theaters when it came out, and as an objective assessment, time has not served this movie well. It's not
so funny though.
It was, its Forrest Gump parody has become rather, flat. There are elements in the film that I like. I like Henry Winkler in it as the coach. When he shows, he's like, I wanted to get a tattoo of the Fonz on my ass, which is hilarious. He's got a tattoo of the Fonz has a tattoo of the Fonz on his ass. But Kathy Bates is decent in it, but I don't know, the movie exhausts me. There's an energy in it that is so manic and incessant that it grinds me down, and it's difficult to find the humor at an older age, even with nostalgic connection. It's more of a C or D, so I'll vote D. It's unfortunately just a D to me.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we've got Santa's Sleigh with Goldberg. I'm gonna go ahead and toss this over to you, Kyle. Where would you put this?
Man, this movie, it could have been so good. It's like the right amount of like stupid. Like you put like a dose of stupid in a recipe of making a creative entity, and it really could have like, oh wow, no, this is dumb, but it's so fun. And it just is too much. They like dumped the whole bottle of stupid into this, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It's just not fun. So I don't know. There's elements that are redeemable. Goldberg is just ridiculous. I'll give it a D. I'll be generous. I'll give it a D.
All right. How about you, Zach?
Just so we can keep Hogan in the F, I'll give it a D. This movie should have been something else.
Paul, have you seen this?
Yeah, I actually have. I'm gonna give it a C, just because I was entertained by it. That dinner scene in the beginning was kind of funny.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Have you seen it, Knock?
No, but a D seems like a nice place for it.
Yeah, I dig that. All right, Santa's Sleigh going to the D. Next up, Blazing Saddles with Alex Karras.
You can skip me on this one. I didn't see this one.
Gotcha. Pass it over to you, Zach. Where would you put this?
This is S-Class. This is S-Class comedy. This is... Man, I don't want to say anything if you haven't seen it. I don't want to like say quotes or like stuff like that. This movie is just comic gold. It's so good. It's like it's I don't know. It's the reason there's a word classic for films. It's so good. I'll let Kyle describe it.
Okay.
I can very much describe it. Actually, we talked a lot about this on a podcast. That wasn't about it, but we were talking about comedy. This is S-Class comedy. This is a bunch of geniuses at the peak of their careers. This is Richard Pryor in the writing room. This is Mel Brooks directing. This is Harvey Korman, in a grand performance, and everybody is. Gene Wilder is just pulling a talent and delivering a comedic material. It's a difficult film, in its 50 years or so of existence. It's a difficult film to understand in a modern context. I think a lot of people, if you approached it, it's vehemently un-PC world is very much fueled by the attitude of Richard Pryor's influence on the film, and it very much is a work of subversive genius. It's like nothing in the film that is uttered in an offensive way is rooted in a sense of acknowledging that that's okay. In fact, it's always the morons or as Gene Wilder says, it's such a great line. He goes, the common folk of the farmers, of the people of the plains, morons. It's like everything that's obscene and racist in the film that a lot of people would just plaster on its facade is such a degradation to what it is trying to do, and it is a work of pristine genius, and you just have to give it a chance. It's absurd, ridiculous. It pays homage to so many classic westerns, from like Destry Rides Again to like Clint Eastwood classics, like who was it? John Wayne was even supposed to be in the movie, but they weren't able to get him down. And of course, Slim Pickens is the best choice for the role that they were going to offer John Wayne. So it's so good. It's pure classic comedy gold. It's one of the greatest comedies ever written, ever directed. It's S-Class.
Yeah, this is one of those movies I'm kind of embarrassed to say I'd never watched.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna check it out. Knock, any chance that you saw this movie?
No, but I'm gonna agree with them. It sounds like S-Class to me if Richard Pryor's in there.
Yeah.
Well, he wrote it. He was supposed
wrote
to
it.
star. Yeah, he was supposed to star actually. But something went wrong, and like contracts, or he was in a different film, and so it couldn't line up. But Cleavon Little is brilliant in the movie.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. All right,
And yeah, I know a lot of people do think it's offensive and stuff, but yeah, I'm glad you pointed out that Richard Pryor was in the writing room of this. It's a look at society, kind of like if you watch Chris Rock or George Carlin talk about it in their stand-up.
Oh yeah, yep,
It's
yep.
smartly done, and if you know where the person's coming from, this movie's
That's the only reason why I know the movie was because of George Carlin.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna go on ahead. Next one, we've got The Expendables with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Zach, where would you put this one?
I will put this in the B category. From all these guys from the 80s being in this movie, I felt it could have been more fun.
Mhm.
I really did enjoy this, but it was just missing something. But I gotta applaud Stone Cold Steve Austin for playing the bad guy. I liked him as the bad guy. He was just a cocky dude who knew he wasn't the head honcho. And all done by Stone Cold, and just wish it was more fun.
Okay. How about you, Knock?
I'm gonna put it B also. Just for a nostalgia factor alone, seeing all these guys in one movie together was good enough for me, but it missed out on a lot of what it could have been.
Gotcha. And Kyle, how about you?
I mean, I agree. It's B because the gimmick is done, but it's not done to the way that it should have been done, and it really could have been something immensely special. And it was just hampered down there, and I couldn't even remotely tell you why. It just seems like it was, rooting against itself, like it was working against its own positives, and so it's unfortunately just not very good.
Okay. Paul, did you see it?
I want to put this in the C category, but just to stay consistent, let's put it in B. I didn't think this was a bad movie, but again, it's just not my cup of tea. I'm not really a big fan of like action films. And I agree with you, Zach. Stone Cold was a little lackluster here just because I know what he's capable of. Like, did you all see The Longest Yard?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like he was great in that as like the antagonist, but in this movie, yeah, he kind of just like fell to the wayside. I agree with you, Zach.
Okay. B's across the board. Expendables with a B. Next up, Goldfinger, James Bond with Harold Sakata as Oddjob. Zach, where are you putting this?
Kyle, I'll let the James Bond buff go first.
Well, I'm not like a James Bond buff, but I did grow up with it, and I think any rating that comes with Goldfinger in particular, I think will be dependent on if you grew up with James Bond or if you have an affinity or love for James Bond, because Goldfinger, I think, arguably, is the best James Bond movie ever made, and it's truly the classic that defined everything that would follow. Even though Dr. No is pretty exemplary on a spy movie, James Bond incarnation, Goldfinger is the staple. It is the foundation. It's the pillar that everything was built from. And even coming from an opinion such as that, I would still only necessarily put it as A, because I don't think there is a single Bond movie that I could consider S-class, and that is that's hard for me to say, but I don't think any of them actually enter S-class.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about you, Zach?
I'll put it in A2. This is the James Bond I grew up with. This is the more familiar territory I have with James Bond. It's a lot more simplistic. Again, maybe this James Bond with Daniel Craig is not as simplistic, so maybe that's not why it relates to me. Maybe that's the factor, but this is the James Bond I grew up with. This is a fantastic movie. I love it. A.
Okay. How about you, Paul?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. A. I mean, this is the James Bond movie everyone knows. Like Austin Powers is pretty much based off of this film, or it's like parodying this film. It's so iconic. Sean Connery is the only James Bond, in my opinion. He's the only one that can really do it justice. And also, I love the Asian representation in this film. Like Dr. No, he's supposed to be half German, half Chinese, and of course, half-throwing guy. What's his name again?
Oddjob.
Yeah, Oddjob too. So I always love to see representation in films. So A.
Okay.
And if you ever play GoldenEye, in your odd job, you're a fuckhead.
It's also
Golden-
that game. By the way, that game was so mean because Harold Sakata was not short.
Right.
You're right.
Mean.
I just always died in that game. I was really bad at it.
Oh man. How about you, Knock? Or you got disagreeing?
Oh no, I love Sean Connery from Russia with Love, Dr. No. This movie, he is James Bond. This is A-class.
Very nice.
I agree with you. Not From Russia with Love is the best Bond movie.
I love that one.
It's my favorite. Yeah.
Nice. All right, we're getting down to the final five. X-Men. Knock. With Tyler Mane in there, where would you put this?
X-Men. I'll give it a B. I also don't remember him in the movie, to be honest. But I like this movie.
He's Sabretooth, man.
He's a wrestler?
Yeah.
Wow, I learned something. Oh, then in that case, yeah. Wow, great job from him. But still B.
Okay. How about you, Zach?
D. And again, just to keep it away from Hogan, not my X-Men. This was a SWAT team movie. This wasn't an X-Men movie. Casting was fine, but you give everyone black suits and everything. This is a SWAT team movie. This is not the X-Men. And for Bryan Singer to be wanting to show representation throughout his movies, this was a poor representation of X-Men, whose whole goal is about diversity and people adjusting to and growing to love something that's different, especially like a group of people like the mutants. This movie fucking sucked. X2 fucking sucked. Anyone can argue me that all day. I love the Nightcrawler scene in the White House, but the rest of that movie was fucking boring. And then we got the Moby ass reboot with the dumbest fucking Mystique twist I've ever seen. I just get them to the MCU, please now.
Yes. Mystique is not a hero. Please don't make her a hero.
No.
Paul, how about you?
I mean, I feel bad just because like I know how rushed this movie was, and that's the reason why we didn't get the X-Men movie that we wanted. But it wasn't a good film. I'm gonna have to agree with everyone here. I'm not gonna necessarily give it a D. I didn't think it was that bad, but C.
Okay. And Kyle, you're the
Man,
same.
I love like how I loved Knox's passion for Fast Five. I love Zach's passion for his hatred, his like vehement hatred for this movie. And I'm in agreement with Zach. If you're going for like comic book adaptation and what the characters are and what the team is supposed to be and how the dynamics of the team, like it is a glorious failure in that regard. It's held up higher than it should be, probably because of cast, probably because of a launching of career and connection for Hugh Jackman as a star in connection with that role, even though I think he was too tall for the, if we're going for...
It would have been Danzig.
Yeah.
You knew it wasn't supposed to be him at first.
No, it wasn't. Yeah. And, and it has a very... negative also connotation with Bryan Singer, who directed it, and everything about this movie is kind of problematic in the long run. But what it did is it did establish the superhero genre. Really, like it really ignited the world and opportunity for essentially what would become the MCU. So as like as a foundational launching point. You have to give it a little bit of credit. I love the dynamic between Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. Ian McKellen as Magneto. Like I think they are what I get my most philosophical points out of the film, my enjoyment out of, and but it can't launch it to more than a B. So I'll agree. C, probably D category, in the long run, but it does have importance.
So are you saying like the series itself is what inspired movies like the MCU, or are you saying like the movie itself?
This particular film was one of the first lucrative experiments of the superhero genre, and it basically pumped a lot of money into exploring other films such as Hellboy and then what it would eventually be Iron Man. Yeah, Spider-Man. Yeah, so X-Men really did it. Like, so it's Yeah, you have to give it a little bit of credit.
It did, especially after the decline of the Batman series.
Yeah.
So the first two Tim Burton ones were spectacular, and then the decline, and then this one hit.
It fell off.
Hollywood.
I mean, if you were to ask me, I feel like Iron Man did that more than X-Men did, but
But they
I get what you're
had
saying.
to.
I remember reading online that there were reports, like in Variety and stuff like that, how studios were looking at superhero movies after X-Men came out. X-Men did do something because your parents didn't know who the hell the X-Men were. They knew who Batman was. They knew who Superman was.
Yeah.
My parents knew. I was watching that cartoon every day.
Every time I'm watching that on Disney Plus, it says skip intro. I'm like, fuck you, skip intro.
No, bitch.
All right. Well, into the C column. We're gonna go up. Next up, we've got MacGruber with a whole smorgasbord of wrestlers. We've got Jericho, we've got Kane, MVP, Mark Henry, the Great Khali. Why is he in anything? And the Big Show. I'm gonna toss it over to you, Knock. Have you seen this one? And if so, where would you put it?
Put it in the B column. I know I'm gonna get some hate from the guys, but yeah, put it in the B column.
Okay. First vote for the B. Paul, you seen it?
No.
Okay. We're gonna go up. Next up, Kyle. Where would you put this?
Well, the joke with the wrestlers is S quality joke, but if we're gonna judge the movie as a whole, it is B. It does not necessarily strike a classic tone. It doesn't. Its jokes are hit or miss. Like, it's not consistent enough, and it's it's an SNL sketch that they developed into a movie. How good can those really be? Beyond Wayne's World.
That is the Roxbury.
Yeah, and even that one is slightly inconsistent. Like, Ladies Man, Corky Romano, any of those are not necessarily of the caliber that most comedies can reach. And MacGruber is stuck in this kind of it's good, but it's not great.
Okay. How about you, Zach?
It's a B to me. I think all SNL movies are about 20 minutes too long, even though they're all like an hour and a half. In college, I grew up watching The Ladies Man, Superstar, Night at the Roxbury. I really liked Weed. But even like nowadays, I see that everything's about 20 minutes too long on the SNL scale for movies, but it's a B.
Yeah.
Okay. Into the B column. Next up, we've got Escape from New York with Zach. Could you help me out with this one?
Baker?
Yes.
Baker, thank you. Gonna toss it to you, Kyle. Where do you think this one goes?
Dude, Escape from New York is S tier, unquestioned. Like, it is one of the greatest post-apocalyptic movies ever made. Snake Plissken is one of the true glorious anti-heroes that John Carpenter has ever created. It is truly a wonder of environment and philosophical pondering, and all filtered through a sense of entertainment. Like, it is truly unrelenting in its entertaining qualities, and it's violent. It's thought-provoking, and it's true to developing a unique world. John Carpenter, and almost throughout this 12-year career, it's S category. I'm putting it in S.
Okay. How about you, Paul?
Yeah. I mean, it's John Carpenter. Come on. Like, I love anything that man makes, and I also really like Patrick Swayze. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean Kurt Russell.
How about you, Zach?
S class. My guy Donald Pleasance is in this. I just I just love this movie. Give it a watch if you haven't. This is, again, like you said, Kyle, this is post-apocalyptic done right.
Very nice. Knock, you have any thoughts on it, or have you not seen it yet?
Yeah. Put this in S class for sure. Boy, Isaac Hayes in there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Hot chocolate salty balls.
How was Escape from LA? I didn't see that one.
Oh, no, it's not very good.
No,
Okay.
it's not.
It's unfortunate. And even Bruce Campbell shows up in it as the doctor. Yeah, no, and it doesn't. Steve Buscemi's in it. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work at all.
No. And then what was the other one that was supposed to be part 3?
Ooh, I don't even remember.
I'll talk to you offline about that one. But there's a part
please.
3, another movie that was made that was supposed to be part 3.
Damn. Oh.
Okay. Well, next up, Knock, you requested this to be in here. The Condemned with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm gonna go straight to you, Knock. Where are we putting this?
Listen, I don't want to, overcomplicate this, but this is going straight to S class. Off of pure bias and nostalgia. This movie was great, man. Put all these guys in the island and fight for their freedom. I thought this was dope. I loved it. And this was Stone Cold's best movie by a long shot.
Okay. How about you, Paul? Have you seen this one?
I feel like I'm just letting Knock down this entire episode. I hated this movie. This movie was a Battle Royale ripoff, and a bad one at that. I'm sorry, Knock.
What's your grade?
Listen, I have no problem with that. I know this movie's not that good. I just loved it.
Yeah. So what's your grade, Paul?
My grade would be, honestly, a D.
Okay. How about you, Kyle?
Yeah, I don't want to let Knock down, but The Condemned, there's so many other movies that have done this and done it better. And it's just and I haven't even rewatched it. Like it did not even inspire me to rewatch it post when I saw it in theaters when it first came out. It's it's gonna be a D also for me.
Okay. And Zach?
I'll give it a C. Paul, glad you brought up Battle Royale. Man, I had 1 and 2 at the time this came out, and I was just like,
Battle Royale is exceptional.
Yeah. Great novel, great film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Eric, you can take my vote for this next one.
Okay, so I regret putting this on the list now because it's gonna be an F. I think we all agree, but I really want Hulk Hogan.
I mean, I wouldn't know. I just saw this at Blockbuster and was like, I'm not renting that.
This is just here for a bullshit vote. Does anyone have any reason why this shouldn't go in F?
Who's in it?
Triple H.
He is the chaperone. It says it just like that, by the way, in the movie.
I just want to say I have no reasons. Just put it in F.
Triple H should have stopped that Blade 3.
I don't know. He's got pedigree enough, right?
Oh, look at this guy.
Hey!
I dig it.
Okay.
Oh, you're great.
I know every movie has a story, but for some reason when I was looking this up, I assumed it was just Triple H is like, okay, I'm driving the bus, and there's guys with guns. To see that he has a backstory, he's a dad or something, went to jail. I was like, this clearly has more writing than I thought they had put into this. Okay.
Then he locked himself in a room with Vince again.
Oh man. Well, I think that's the most S ranks we've ever had in the tier list.
Mm-hmm.
It might be.
Yeah. But we get to the part of the video where I'm going to ask each and every one of you, you have the chance to move any movie into any category. I'm going to start off with you, Knock. Is there any movie you would move with your veto?
Well, let's be real here, but I'm gonna pass my veto because I know it won't stay. But I would move Fast Furious. But it's fine where it is.
How about you, Paul?
Can you get back to me? Is that okay?
That's perfectly fine.
Okay.
How about you, Zach?
I'm gonna take X-Men and move it down to D. So
Okay.
you take a group of people who are about individuality and you put them all in black suits and make them look uniform. Get the fuck out of here.
Okay. And Kyle, how about you?
I as I'm looking at it, and even though I have like some favorites and whatnot, and I don't know if I hate a movie enough to move it lower than where it's ranked. I kind of like where it is. I think I'll pass on moving anything.
Okay.
Just a question. Can you only move one movie, or can you move as many as you want?
Only one.
Only one. Okay.
Redo the list.
I mean, kind of. I kind of want to redo S. Like, I don't think.
Well, we'll go through.
Well, we're voting for one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I personally don't think Father of the Bride needs to be S. I think that's more of a B. That's my personal opinion, but.
Talking about Ed Wood?
Who?
Oh, The Princess Bride.
Princess Bride, sorry.
Okay.
Father of the Bride, Steve Martin.
Oh,
Sorry.
Steve Martin, Royal Rumble '91 winner.
Yeah. I would move that down one.
Well, you can vote to not keep it in there.
Okay.
But So right now, it looks like that is the list. We're gonna get to the voting. I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna go down the list. If you guys have a vote to keep it in there, let me know. First vote. Does anyone have a vote for They Live?
Me. See you.
How many votes do we get?
Just one.
One each.
Just one each.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it comes to same as the rest of the video, if it comes to a tie, I'll put my vote in.
Copy.
All right, so that's one for They Live. Next up, The Princess Bride. Any votes? All right. Predator. All right. Ed Wood. All right. The Wrestler.
I'll take a vote there.
Okay. Friday. Okay.
I'll take a vote there.
Okay. So 1-1-1. Blazing Saddles.
Ooh, this is tough. I don't know. Because I'm the only one with a vote. And it's either between Escape from New York and Blazing Saddles.
Oh man.
Which child do you love better?
Yeah, I know this is Sophie's choice for me. I'm gonna stick to my Blazing Saddles guns. I'll knock down Escape from New York.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Damn. Okay. In that case, I'm sorry, Kyle. I know Blazing Saddles is probably, if not the best, the second best movie up here. But my bias.
Yeah. In my opinion,
choose one.
I want to say The Wrestler just because I'll never forget the fact that so many wrestlers were touched by this movie. They cried just seeing it touch so many of them. But I'm going to give my vote for... Damn, this sucks. I'm going to say They Live.
Good choice. Good choice.
Right.
I'm cool with that.
When it comes down to it, when I think of a movie with a wrestler in it, it's Roddy Piper, it's They Live. Second place, I would have given it to Friday, though.
Yeah, me too. I agree with you there.
Yeah. But that is the list. In first place, S rank, we've got They Live, Roddy Piper. Yeah, you guys listening at home, you got glasses, you got eyes, you can see where everything else is. I'm not sure, babysitter.
Watch the video.
Exactly. Kyle, thank you so much for being here, man.
Guys, thanks for having me. This was a fantastic time. I enjoyed every minute of it. It was thanks for having me.
It's always cool, man.
Yeah. And we didn't get to do this when you were on our episodes. Let's just do it now. Zach, where can they find us?
Well, they cannot find WWE movies on the WWE network. Let me just say that shit straight up. I don't know why they don't have their own material on the network. They can find us pissing all over X-Men.
And with that, folks, we'll catch you around. Thanks for watching.
Later.